in that situation where it's trying to go straight from USDC to Icosa, maybe it would, try to utilize maybe some of these other pairings that are here. As you can see, like this here, this is 138K. It's not 138K. It's 108K worth of USDC and 31,000 worth of Icosa, dollars of Icosa. So there's not even really any sufficient liquidity in there to be able to do anything, as I was just showing you through the router not wanting to do it. And that would mean there's not enough sufficient liquidity in here either. What that tells me is Icosa is new, right? And there's not enough people that even have any to be able to sell it, to be able to derive a higher price. It would be better if, under the no expectations law of how we handle our assets, that the SA were to notice this and appropriate more assets that it may have to be able to help derive a price to keep healthy momentum in the price to go up further. Maybe with some of the price action that we currently have of this going up like it is, nobody's selling, as you can see. There's actually more buy pressure currently happening than sell pressure. And any of the sell pressure that had happened got immediately chucked up. So maybe some of these guys that are back here should get with the fucking program, pardon my French, and maybe start moving some of those assets that they have up here if they have any. If they have any, right? This is a strong thing here, right? This. People have assets. They do. But nobody wants to get rid of this stuff. Nobody wants to sell it. Everyone wants to continue to use the protocol the way it's supposed to. So somebody has some. I think there's like 2 million liquid, maybe. Man, you're telling me I gotta go in here and actually get it from you guys. So there's not a lot in here, guys. There's very few people that can. As you can see, here's the assets quantities that are in the hex Icosa. There's some. There's some significant amount. The V3, there's some. So if you wanted to get Icosa, chances are your best bet would probably be to buy hex and then swap it into Icosa. I wouldn't say that unless I went and actually looked at it a little bit closer. Do I have it up? There it is. And it ain't even the right one. It's on V2. Well, either way, I think that old boy is going to have to utilize a little bit better understanding of what these ticks are in between, and also look at this here to be able to see how that router can utilize that money and see why it wouldn't push the price to a certain extent. Like what they're doing is basic math between this and this. And what they may be needing to do is basic math that gets chunked up into certain sections across this, and this. And also any of the V2 pairs that are currently there as well, with what that router could actually do. So it's a really, really tough question without like a massive amount of investigating like exactly how it could work, and would be the reasons why that router is algorithmic and utilized the way that it is, because it's too much brain power to figure that out on your own. Sorry, I'm not available to answer that question exactly. I'd probably have to do a little bit more investigating of how the Icosa price would be able to derive a higher price at certain amounts that you actually spend. But it's going to be really difficult to get to that, because like I was saying, is nobody's selling Icosa. Like there might be a couple of people, but there's no liquidity backing the availability to sell it in a significant way. It makes it a lot harder to be able to derive a price or understand the deriving of that price. Sorry, I sound like I'm a little far away, but I'm trying to cook dinner and look at all that stuff at the same time without ruining, not dinner, but lunch, without ruining my lunch. Okay. Good enough. I looked at it. Maybe not as sufficiently as we'd all wanted to look at it, but it's still rather complicated. But the simple math that was being used to be able to try to derive the price the way that he was trying to do it is not sufficient. It doesn't work that way. If it was a lot easier, you wouldn't need a router to be able to do those types of things, to try to get yourself the availability of more assets. When you're trying to use a significant amount of money that's maybe particularly bigger than the rest of the pools, which is maybe a smart thing on the part of Alex to add the buyback function. Maybe being aware of those things, that, you know, it was going to start with zero supply. So you don't have to incur slippage by spending $30,000 at a rate of 15%, losing $5,000 right off the top, and then pushing the price up against you almost by 10 cents, which means that you were going to lose value no matter what you did anyway. Which is kind of like at the very beginning of Icosa, when I was saying like guys like God Whale that come in, and maybe big whales, other whales that are in, when they're done with their 360 days of their term, that they're probably going to start providing more liquidity on the Icosa side. Everybody's got dollars. Everybody's got USDC. It's not hard to gain. You just go get a fucking job. Pardon my language. I got to stop that. You can just go get a job, do something, get USDC, but it's a lot harder to get Icosa than it is to get a job and get dollars. You can buy Hex. There's lots of liquidity there. I don't suggest selling other assets for other assets, but I mean, if it's got more liquidity, then you can do it. I mean, it won't hurt the price of Hex if it's got $5 million in it versus the other one that only has 100,000. Make a stake, get some Icosa that way by selling it to the buyback function. Obviously, we're not close to ceiling price, so you might take a loss on that. But if you're dealing with large amounts and you realize that even if it's not towards the ceiling, and you're going to take a little bit of a loss off of doing that instead, just so you have liquid assets, it's better than a 15% slippage against you off of your 30 grand or 40 grand or 100 grand, or like that other guy did, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $470,000, some shit like this that he put in. And then he made a $40,000 purchase after that. Right? Like, he pumped the price after doing all that and staked it. Which I don't know what the router was saying at that time. That router was probably telling him the same thing, right? Like, don't do this. Go buy another asset and utilize more of the pairs. I mean, I was hoping that the router would be like, yeah, we'll just go from here to here to here to here, and then we'll be able to get you your $30,000 and lower your slippage on this, but it didn't. So it's very rare to actually see that happen, but I can understand. I mean, I can make some reasoning off of it because, well, the asset's new. It doesn't incentivize you to provide liquidity because you can make more money off your yield for staking it by using the protocol than maybe potentially providing liquidity and incurring impermanent loss off of volatile movements that are going to happen in an asset that's brand new. So I wouldn't even, it doesn't surprise me that what we have going on is what's going on. Hopefully that helps in some sort of way. Hopefully. But I think that there might be programs that are out there that that I don't pay attention to, that other guys maybe in like the Hex trading chat might be paying attention to. Or hell, maybe even you guys might know more about it. Like, if I spend X amount of dollars, then what can price be after spending this many dollars, right? Like what Richard Hart does with the whole, if you spend $30 million right now, Hex will be this many dollars, right? Like, it's not reality because the liquidity doesn't even suggest that you could even get to that price and support it. But it does mean that it'll go up there. It'll wick all the way up there. And as soon as somebody sells, it'll wick all the way back down. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like the new price that you guys are going to see forever. Not until liquidity providers actually move their assets up to sell those assets for a higher price and support that price at that time. I'm going to go dark and eat some lunch real quick. So if nobody has any questions, I'm gonna probably head out. I've been in here for about 9 hours now. I think that's a good day, a good free day of education. I'll probably wait a couple more days and see what happens with the price and see what happens with liquidity before I appropriate those things again. So it's not like just me showing you the same bullshit over and over again every day. Mudhog, are you okay? Anyway. And then we'll continue this again. And then after I make some new screenshots, I'll go over all of that shit again with you. And we will continue in a couple of days. I'll think about putting up a donation address, I suppose, since people have asked for it. I will expect nothing, and I'll continue to keep doing this the way that I'm doing it.
Hi.
But thanks.
Just want to say, really appreciate it. Been learning a lot listening to you these past few days. Cheers.
Thanks, Crypto Cat. Anyway, you guys have a good day, and go back to the Moon Boy talk. Convince some more people to come in, and then we'll teach them how it really works. All right. Later, guys. Have a good day.